Basically, first I start a self-introduction. My name's Shangnan Wu, and currently I'm based in the UK and London. And I've been helping college students and also primary school students about their A-level and GCSE in Mandarin course. So today we're going to basically have a short trip and a basic introduction towards Mandarin. And I would ask you some questions all through this course, because I currently have no idea about your Chinese levels, or have you learned about Mandarin before, and whether you have some foundation in this language. So feel free to leave any message during the whole process. And also, if you have any questions, you can always just feel free to ask. I will be very happy to answer your questions, and let's just keep this course a very interactive course. And this course is offered by Mommy Daddy Me, which is a startup company aiming at boosting education across internet, and to tie the students and also the tutors across the world together, so that you can choose the class you want to learn and wherever you want, as long as you have a stable internet connection. And okay, let's get started. So currently in Hong Kong and in most countries apart from the Chinese speaking areas, for students at young, like in between 8 to 16, you're basically learning about a YCT, which is use Chinese. So the exam's name is YCT, and is slightly different from the HSK, which is usually taken by slightly older candidates. So we're going to start at a relatively basic level of the YCT Mandarin. So when you try to learn Mandarin, there might be some reasons that you want to get to know a new language. For example, it's interesting, or it's practically useful, or else you just have a huge interest in their culture or history. And as for Mandarin, currently there are 1.6 billion people in the whole world who speaks Mandarin, and that means once you learn this language, you'll be able to communicate 1 out of 5 of the population in the whole world. Think about it, it might be a quite good thing, because you would be able to communicate and connect with a larger group of listeners all around the world. And second, I would say the reason why it's useful and interesting and even beneficial to learn Mandarin is that practically speaking, China is now the second biggest economy in the whole world. And because I'm currently in the UK, so sometimes I ask my students, why do you want to learn Mandarin? Why your parents signed you up in this course? And I remember I had a student who is 8, her name is Scarlett. She said, my mommy told me that I can get good jobs if I learn Mandarin. I mean, it's in such a banter way, but I guess what this little kid told me is what she actually thought. So it would add on more advantage to your future if you want to study abroad, or if you want to get into those international companies, because they would need people to expand the Chinese speaking market. So even though it might be a bit early for you to okay, and so maybe it might be a little bit early for you that to think about things in a practical way. But let's move on to the third reason. As we all know, Chinese is like the root at a language for other similar Southeast Asian languages like Korean, Japanese. And because I speak Korean too, and I noticed that during the process of me learning Korean and Japanese, my Chinese foundation is very, very useful, because Hanzi in Mandarin, which means Chinese characters. In Korea, they use Hangul, and in Japanese, they have kanji. So as long as you know the root of the Chinese characters, it might be easier for you to keep on learning new East Asian languages, especially Japanese and Korean. Name one example. In Chinese, the word for library is 图书馆. 图书馆. However, in Korean, it's 图书馆. You can hear it from a pronunciation level that they are quite similar. 图书 and 图书馆 and 馆. So sometimes if you have a relatively big vocab in your mind in Chinese language, you will find it relatively easier to guess the meaning of the Korean and Japanese words. So yeah, this is what learning Chinese can benefit you in terms of language learning. So now we've talked about 3 reasons why you should learn the Mandarin, and I believe there are plenty reasons out there which might encourage you to pick up this new language or the language that you might need to take tests in schools. And so feel free to leave the messages. That's why do you think it's important to learn Mandarin, or should you have any other questions like how can I start to pick this language up? How can I learn it in a more fast-paced way? Just feel free to leave any comments and also questions out there. I can see it from my side, and I'll be happy to answer all these questions for you later on. Okay, so that's part of the reason why you should oh, thank you for the question. I see the question is it, sorry, the question is it easy, or it's about speaking and writing? I think that largely depends. Some of my students, they would prefer to start from speaking, because once you are trying to learn a kind of language, it's more about listening and imitating what the native speakers say. For example, when you pick up your mother tongue, whether it's English or Vietnamese or Cantonese, and you didn't learn it through systematically like writing or grammar, you learn it from how your parents speak to you. And so it's more about a natural process. And to me, listening can't be more important when it comes to learning a language. But when you come to a relatively advanced level, you would want to include writing on your plate, so that you can only talk to people face to face or through this kind of like audio conversation, but also you can write to people and send emails or just read books and magazines, newspapers in the target language. And it also applies to Mandarin. And so when you're learning Mandarin's writing systems is relatively different. It's not relative, it's hugely different from Western languages, for example, like English and French, because those languages are based on alphabetic letters. However, for Chinese, for Mandarin, it's organized based on strokes, like how you write the character. For example, if you see, let me just pick something up. If you see words like this in English, is the letters. But if you're trying to write a Chinese word, let's say if you want to write the word coffee, then in English you would say COFFEE, coffee. However, in Chinese, you can't actually see any letters. You would see things like a picture made of different strokes, which is ka, fei. But to make it easier, since the 1950s, we have initiated a plan called Pinyin. Pinyin. we call it Pinyin. It's kind of like an alphabetical or alphabetic system of letters, but it's just the aim of such system is to facilitate your learning process, which helps you to pronounce the word and figure out how to read it. And because in Chinese we have 4 tones like and you can see the little marks like in French or in some in some European languages still use the same words. As an example, in French, coffee is café. We have a little mark up here, but in French and other European languages, this little mark doesn't indicate the tones. It indicates the change of pronunciation of a specific letter. However, in Chinese, the little mark tells you which tone you should put your word in. And so it's quite important and different when it comes to this pinyin system. But once you've mastered this pinyin system, it will be very, very easy for you to pick up new words, because Chinese is not a kind of phonetic language, which means you can't see it and instantly read it out loud. But in Japanese and in Korean, even in French, Germany, you can actually read the language as soon as you see it, because it's relatively phonetic. You can pronounce it immediately. But in Chinese, it's a different story. And great, we have another question. We have already learned Mandarin for a few years, where you teach us in Mandarin or in English in lessons later. Well, because it's a very good question, the reason why I'm conducting this course in English is because my colleague told me that we might have some beginner students who have no previous knowledge in Mandarin. So as the first trial class and as the first live streaming class, we're doing it in English. But later on, we can arrange class that where I would use Chinese to teach you. And so it basically depends on the level of the students. If you think you would prefer to have an immersed environment where I only speak Chinese, and we can arrange the class like that, so that you can learn Chinese through listening to Chinese and immerse in a language environment. Whereas for beginners, and we would start the whole thing from scratch, which means we can learn it from the basic pronunciation, from Pinyin and such sort of stuff, whatever suit you the best. And since we're talking about YCT today, and can I ask, sorry. Okay, I'm reading the Q&A session right now, and after such short introduction about the Chinese Mandarin language and why you should learn it, you're welcome. And so I guess since you have learned about Chinese for a few years, the material that we prepared today might be a little bit too easy for you, because we are prepared for we prepared the materials starting from the basic words in Chinese, which is about like how to say hi to people, how to address people, how to greet people, and okay, and thank you guys so much for asking these questions, and I feel like I can interact with you during this whole course, which is a perfect thing for, I think, both for me and you. I really hope you enjoy it. And we are going to, let me know if it's too easy or too difficult for you. Just feel free to leave a comment. So when we start to learn a language, what's the first thing that we should learn? For example, because I'm speaking English right now, so I assume that everyone here understands English. So what's the first English word that you've learned? It definitely can't be words like metamorphosis or this kind of very, very advanced words. You have to start from hi, good morning, or thank you. such basic words. And so as Chinese, so we're going to talk about how to address people and how to greet people in this short few minutes, so that after this class, if you are a complete beginner, you will be able to say hi to your friends and families in Chinese. Okay, so the first word that I suggest you will know in this, starting at this whole new language, is 你好. Okay, read out to me if you can. 你好. I'll write that down for you. 你. So the word here is 你. You might see it in the relatively upside down way. I'm so sorry about that. We'll figure out a way to put it more straightforward. And so yes, perfect. 你好. I can see some of you have typed in 你好 to us. Thank you. And which means hello. And it's just a very common way. And it's not like in French or in Germany, in German, where you have to make the difference between what to say in the morning, what to say in the afternoon, and what to say at night. This is just a very common way to say hello and hi. You can use it whatever time it is during the day, and also you can say it to elder people or the people at your at your age, or younger people if you have a younger sister or brother or cousins, that sort of stuff. So you can just feel free to say this word to everyone. And what I wrote down just now is 你 means you. Basically, that means you're talking to the person who you are communicating with. And second word is 好. I will try to type that down, which is 好. 好, that means good or well. So basically it means 你好, like literally it means you, and good, that means how are you, and it's implied that the person is greeting you. So you could say to everyone around you in Chinese, like 你好, to greet them, to say hello to them. So for those who are quite advanced in terms of Chinese learning, so you see, I'm not sure whether you can see my PowerPoint here. Hang on just a second, please. And okay, can you guys see the PowerPoint that I'm sharing right now? So the PowerPoint that I'm sharing. Okay, so 你好. So this is the first word that we just learned. So this is how you greet anyone that you need to greet. So for the Pinyin, it writes, I'll just note down the tone with this number right here, 你好. So that's the pronunciation. And for this word, which is 你好, okay. And I've had the PowerPoint here but for some reason, I'm sorry for technical issues, my iPad doesn't allow me to show this PowerPoint on the iPad, but I'll figure that out next time. And sorry that you guys have to put up with me this time. And I'm hoping that you could learn these words and you can use it later on. And just feel free to drop me any. Okay. I can. So you. Okay. I received a message saying that the PowerPoint sharing wasn't successful, but I'll just switch to my PC next time, because sometimes iPad can be a bit. Okay. Yeah. It's like this exactly. And I don't want to pronounce your name wrong, and I think your name is Hao. Is that right? And you just type in the right answer. Yes, it is. You asked, is it like this? 你好. So yes, it's 你好, and that means hello. And for example, if you can switch the 你 to anyone. For example, I am teaching you Chinese now. So in Chinese, I'm playing the role, not playing the role, I am taking the role of a tutor or a teacher. So in Chinese, you can switch the 你, the first word 你, just like how just tapped in. You can switch the first word into teacher or parent or the name of your friend. For example, we have a, okay, for example, we have Charmaine, and we can say Charmaine 好. You can switch 你 into different names, and we have let's see what we have. Let me know if I pronounce your name wrong, okay? Minty, Minhti. I'm sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. Please let me know how to correctly pronounce your name. You can say Minty 好. So you can switch the name and add a 好 right after it, which means that someone plus 好, which means you're saying hello to that one. And we have Nicholas. We can say Nicholas 好. It's like, hi, Nicholas. And we have Eden. Please let me know if I pronounce the name wrong. We have Eden 好, which means hi, Eden. And so you guys feel free to switch the name with the name of your friends or your parents, and try to greet them in Chinese. Oh yeah, perfect. Okay. And nice to know that I pronounce your hi Eden. Hi Eden 好, 你好. And feel free to type in your feedback, like whether you think that makes sense, and just let me know, okay? And thank you guys, thank you Eden, thank you Hao for interacting with me, and I hope you can learn how to 老师你好, perfect. Hi Charmaine, thank you. Actually, what Charmaine just typed in means like hello teacher, so which is, let me type that in here. Oops. Okay. 老师您好, perfect. Thank you, Hao. Thank you. Hi, Minty. Hi, nice to meet you. And I'm happy to see you guys out here. And let me know if that makes sense. Have you guys all learned about how to say hi to your friends and families? Good. I'll type that in. 你好. And also, I just saw someone typed in 您好. 您好. So you can see the difference lies in the first word. So we have 你, the 你好, and we have 您好. Good. So the difference between these two is the second one is more respectful. For example, if you're saying Hi, 你好, how, 你好. And the difference between these two words lies in if you're greeting older people, like your grandmother, your parents, your teacher, and if you want to show respect, it's better to say 您好. But if you're saying hello to people of your same age group, for example, I just saw Minty said that you're 8 years old. So if you're saying hi to any 8 years old friends or 7 years old or people younger than you, you can say 你好 because they are either younger or of the same age as you do. So that's how you greet them. Okay, and can I know how old is Eden? Hi, Eden, are you still here? 你好, Eden. How old are you? 老师你好. Yes, perfect. 你好. Okay. Eden's hi. Thank you, Eden. So, for example, if Eden is saying hi to Minty, so Eden. So a 4-year-old Eden, 4-year-old to a 8-year-old. Which word should he or she use? Because they're both very young, so we don't have to use words like 您 because 您 is relatively very respectful for elder or for parents, teachers, the one that is senior than us, so we will use 您. But among friends or young people, it's okay for we just to say 你 rather than 您. So for example, if Mintai is greeting Eden, so you can say ，Eden 好，Eden 好。Let's say Eden. I'm typing that in the group chat. 好。Okay. Oh, wow! Time flies when you're having fun. So, unfortunately, we have come to the end of the course, but I think we can still have some time for question and answer for Q&A session. So let me know if you have any questions. You can raise the questions in the Q&A session, or you can just type in during the chat. Guys, do you have any questions? Oh, hi, Eden. Can we? Yeah, sure. I mean, 朗诵, which means like you read the poem or read the article in a very emotional and with just showing your emotions to the audience. Yes, of course. Once you have mastered the tone and the accent, and also in very once you can speak Chinese in a very native way, we can add 朗诵, we can add this into our curriculum so that you can not only communicate with Chinese people in Mandarin natively, but also you can perform a poem or read Chinese articles in Mandarin in an emotional way, which can bring the audience into your mind and let them feel your emotion during when you read something. So yeah, sure, we can bring that in later on. Okay, thank you, Sharmai. Thank you, guys, and I hope to see you soon. Oh, thanks, Eden. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sharmai, and thank you, Mintai, and thank you, everyone who I haven't mentioned the name because I don't want to offend people by pronouncing their name wrong. I'll try to figure out your name. And thank you, Nicholas. Thank you. 朗诵 is like we read the poem or articles. You are reading it in a very you read it with your emotion. So does that answer your question, How? And yes, I'm trying to type that in. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to tap that. Read. was in motion. Okay, I hope this answers your questions. Okay, so I guess I'll see you guys next time, and I really hope you enjoy it. And if you have any comments, suggestions, questions, even if the class is ended, you can still type in your answers to me. And okay, thank you guys very much. I'll see you next time. Have a lovely day. I know it's nighttime in Hong Kong, so maybe you need to go to bed very soon. So night night, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Oh, thank you, Mintai. Thank you. I'm very flattered. Thank you. Bye bye. 谢谢。拜拜。